Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review of Kamen Build episode 6. Just real quick at the beginning, I wanted to mention, in case any of you who watch this don't follow the Q Ranger reviews, I had a bit of a skip where last week's Q Ranger review didn't go up, so I'm doubling up. So just of note to people that follow these reviews, if there's ever a week where a build review doesn't go up, that likely means that for whatever reason I didn't get to it or it didn't come out, and I'll double up the following week. The only other reason there wouldn't be a video is because there was golf or something. But I just wanted to point that out for those that follow the build reviews and not the Q Ranger reviews. But anyway, this was another good week for build. It basically followed last week's plot of Ryuga betraying Sento to use his friend as kind of bait to find the base. And I think that was an interesting strategy, and I like the way that this all unfolded. Like, it caused conflict with the two, but I'm glad it didn't create an overblown cliche conflict that's going to last or anything. Like, it was pretty balanced. Like, Sento even saved him almost right away after this when he got caught by the guards. And it caused, I think, an interesting stepping stone in their friendship, which I thought was nice. And I like that it didn't just boil down to, you betrayed me, punch, 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 punch. Like, it actually kind of grew their relationship and was a bit nice for both of the characters. Like, Sento had gotten mad at Ryuga, and he's like, I'm sorry I'm not a goody two-shoes. And I really liked that moment because it echoed a lot of stuff I would say about, like, M and Takeru, where they were just too goody two-shoes and they weren't, you know, human enough. And I like that about Ryuga. I really like that a lot about him, is that he's not a bad person, but he wants to be exonerated. And not setting, like, his personal feelings about that aside, it makes sense, aside, to want to get him exonerated just to make things easier, because he's staying and working with the build team. So it would make sense for them want to sort of prioritize him getting exonerated so they don't have to tiptoe around stuff so much. But I really like that about Ryuga's character, and I think it was strong for him, and it's kind of a repeated, not storyline, but like a repeated element, I guess, which I appreciate that, even though he, like, basically admits he's not perfect, you know, and he's a little bit selfish in a way. Not selfish, but you know what I mean. Like, but he will remind Sento of his morals, which I think is nice. And, like, I liked Sento in this episode, too, where he was kind of doing that classic, like, oh, we have to do what's right, like, echoing sentiments. But this episode, he showed how human he was, because when they actually made it to the base, he kind of lost it on Stark. I'm gonna call him Stark, and was like, I want to know who I was, you know, and he was like, give me my memories back, what happened to me, and he was like freaking out, beating him up, and sort of ignoring the people that needed help. And I liked that was like a dual character moment, which I loved, which it showed that Ryuga still wants to remind Sento who he is, but it also showed that Sento's not perfect. And I don't want it to sound like I'm like, yeah, do that and don't help the people, but it's very human for that to happen, for him to get taken up in the moment and actually worry about his personal problems, but he was able to snap back. And I really appreciate that, because it's something that was so missing, I felt, from M and Takeru, who just felt like generic goody-goody characters that were following like an NPC script. And this made Sento feel very human, which I really liked, and it kind of made them a bit closer, and I liked that it didn't drive them apart for, I mean, there would have been good cause. Like, it was definitely a betrayal that I would have understood, but with those types of things, they can often last too long or come off too irrational in reactions, and I was actually surprised about how well they handled it. Not that Build hasn't earned some good faith, but just based on that usual type of storyline, I'm just kind of used to it blowing up like that. Meanwhile, they did save the crazy friend, and we got a little bit of a flashback when we also found out that Sento, back when his name was whatever in the hell, was the first person to arrive at the doctor's office that was murdered before Ryuga was framed. So they're like, oh my god, did he kill him? I don't think he did. They could surprise me. Like, maybe he tripped and accidentally killed him. I don't know. But I don't think he did, but that was an interesting revelation. And it was also funny to see, like, a snippet of his old personality. Like, last week we got to see pictures, like, on the wall at their old apartment or whatever, but, like, we actually got to see, like, a little snippet of the acting. And I think it's funny because I mentioned last week, on one hand, I was expecting a bit more to it. Not like I was expecting Sento to be really important, necessarily, like, oh, he was the, you know, the crowned prince, or he was a secret agent. I just expected there to be a little bit more to why he was chosen, and again, we're 6 episodes in, so that could pop up sometime in the next 40-ish episodes, but it is kind of a cool story that he was basically this kind of weird band guy, and now he, via losing his memory, has become this you know, hero as a Kamen Rider, and I think that's kind of cool as well, especially since he wasn't even just like just a normal like dude. He was like this crazy weird character, almost like an obnoxious Toku comic relief character that becomes a heroic Kamen Rider via amnesia. But I don't know, I do like that element of it, and I hope if there is something more to it, it doesn't change that element I like of it. I was just kind of torn last week because the way they were building it up, I just expected it to be a little something more, and even less than that, I didn't expect them to get to it so soon. But so there was that, and it also appears that like the people involved in Faust, specifically Bloodstark, were kind of manipulating this and wanted them to discover things and are sort of testing them out, which was kind of interesting. And I think that was pretty much it. There wasn't a new best match this week. There's going to be one next week, which I believe is Rocket Panda. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I've hit most of the points that I'm like mainly wanted to talk about, I think. I thought it was a really enjoyable episode again. Keeping that momentum. It was cool to see them actually get into the base. Oh, we did discover, which basically, I remember two things, and then I'll do the wrap up. So like the gas that's coming out of the wall that divides all the sections is what is being used to create the smash, and then also was what was used on Ryuga and Sento. Something I wanted to mention with that is I did find it weird that like Sento found that such a revelation. Like, I mean, I guess the gas was new information, for sure, but I mean, the audience just kind of assumed it had something to do with Pandora's box and stuff, but that was new information. But the fact that they seemed so shocked that what was done to the smash is what was done to them seemed weird. Like, I know that's something more the audience was maybe told about, but that seemed like a pretty easy dot to connect, considering, like, you know, Ryuga's girlfriend when she was kidnapped, and like the other people they know have been experimented on in similar ways. Like, they knew it was like a similar lab situation. Like, did they think, oh no, we were in the group B, that group A is the smash? So that seemed weird that they didn't connect those dots, because I thought they already had. And Bloodstark did mention that both him and Ryuga are special because they were experimented on with the gas, but they didn't turn into smash. They've just been given abilities. That could change later. I could see one or both of them somehow turning into a smash, because that's a pretty standard writer storyline. But for now, it basically moved things along a little bit while giving us a little bit more Easter eggs. Not Easter eggs, that's the wrong word, but a little bit more nuggets of information and like starting to branch out the mysteries. But I did find that weird. Like, I thought they already connected the dot that whatever was going on with the smash was very tied to them. But yeah, other than that, it was a very good episode. I liked it. I give it an 8. I'm looking forward to next week getting a new form and learning more about the mysteries. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Awesome Rider, signing out.